This is the story of one of the most sensational murder cases in the history of Canada.
It started with the Scarborough Rapist.
Since May the 4th, 1987, numerous sexual assaults have been attributed to a man dubbed the Scarborough Rapist.
His MO was to go up behind his victims and grab them from behind to make sure they couldn't see him.
We put a knife to their throat and said, if you look at me, I'll slit your throat.
And the attacks, each one got a little bit more violent as time progressed.
Our fear was if he wasn't stopped soon, that this is going to escalate to murder.
No one had really seen the attacker's face, so the police didn't really have much to go on. But then the attacker made a mistake.
And his 13th victim, lady was walking down the street and he was walking towards her. She was able to see his face.
And she was able to give police a very detailed description. And it was so well done that numerous people saw it and called police and said, I know who that is. That's Paul Bernardo.
Several hundred suspects were questioned, including University of Toronto graduate Paul Bernardo, an aspiring accountant.
Paul Bernardo, at the time of the Scarborough Rapes, was living at home with his parents in Scarborough.
He was living the perfect life with Karla Homolka.
Hi, Karla.
Hi.
Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
They were gorgeous, this perfect couple.
The police called him in for an interview, and he came in willingly. He was very at ease, he wasn't nervous.
And they asked if he would volunteer a DNA sample, and he agreed. And unfortunately, it was put on a shelf with a whole bunch of other samples where it sat for a number of years.
After interviewing him, police let him go. No one was arrested.
The rapes had stopped when Bernardo had moved from Scarborough.
Paul Bernardo moved to St. Catharines to live with Karla Homolka and her family.
And then a body was found in the St. Catharines area, Leslie Mahaffy.
The night that Leslie disappeared, she had attended a memorial for a young gentleman who was killed in a car accident.
She got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. All the lights were off.
The door was locked. She left and went to a phone booth and called her friend to say, I'm locked out, can I come stay at your house?
Friend said no. So she walked back to her house.
And that was the last anyone heard from her.
And everyone had hoped for the best, and then everyone discovered the worst.
The dismembered remains of 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffy were found in a nearby lake. She had disappeared 2 weeks before.
Her body had been dismembered, encased in pieces of concrete.
And I still was hoping that maybe the police had made a mistake, but it was her.
And then another young girl goes missing.
10 months later, another victim, 15-year-old Kristen French.
She was kidnapped in broad daylight.
She passed by a church. There was a parking lot in front, and there was a car parked there, and there was this woman, and she had a big road map on the hood. And she saw Kristen walking by. She asked her for help. While she was helping her, the man dragged her into the car,
Push her into the back seat, and away they go.
Kristen, you want to know that we are thinking of you and that everything can be done is being done.
14 days later, Kristen's body was found in a ditch in Burlington.
It was shocking. Everybody was just devastated.
Just kept thinking, why did he have to kill her?
Police are not discounting the possibility that the cases may be connected.
There were similarities. Both had been physically assaulted, both had been asphyxiated, both had bruising to their bodies, as though someone had been kneeling on their back, maybe using a ligature strangulation or strangling them from behind.
We have to find who did this, or more young girls are gonna die.
This danger is out there.
The Scarborough Rapes began in May of 1987, but it would be 6 years before the police would get their first big break in this case.
The lab that analyzed DNA didn't have a lot of resources, so samples sat for a number of years.
This is in the early stages of DNA analysis, and so the technical side of that was still very much in a development stage.
When they finally get around to testing, they say, hey, we got a match.
And it was matched to Paul Bernardo.
Police have 28-year-old Paul Bernardo in custody, accused of being the notorious Scarborough Rapist. They arrested him late yesterday at this house in St. Catharines that he rented with his wife.
I saw Paul Bernardo for the first time when he was being arraigned in Scarborough after he was arrested. To see him finally, I thought, so that's the Scarborough Rapist. He didn't look like a monster. He just looked like a guy. And I think that's what made it even scarier.
We expect our monsters to look like monsters, and they don't always.
These types of offenders are known to have a dual existence. They can appear to be the pillar of a community, but that's not who they are.
Which is probably one of the reasons why he got away with it.